Hello friends, welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. I'm going to be sharing in this video recent auction winnings. Some auctions I feel like we go in and it's like one big card. If you watch the auction preview lives, a lot of times it's looking at the big Wagner or Cobb or Mantle or whatever some of the big hitters are. But a lot of these auctions, and I encourage folks, even if your budget's not always shopping for commas. A lot of these you'll find cards that are reasonable sliding through. I've bought cards for under $100 at auctions for sure. 80, 90, $70 kind of stuff, even with the premiums. So anybody gets scared off with premiums. You tend to see, people bidding aren't dense or unaware. If it's $1,000 card, it tends to sell for 800 plus 20% is 960, and you're kind of right back in line with everything else. So people aren't bidding $1,000 and then shocked that it's 1,200 and overpaying by 20%. That's not how an auction works. So I would encourage everyone to jump in. I think lately what I'm seeing, I don't know if people will agree or not, scarce tends to be in. Like it's the cool thing right now. So a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at is going for anywhere from fair to strong side of fair to oh my. There was 3 cards I was targeting in the last couple auctions that I thought I was going to be pretty aggressive, and I was out on them with days to go because, and in fairness, a couple of them ended exactly where I stopped. So I was like the second highest bidder. So I think sometimes, and I probably do the same thing, some people are in there looking for a card that they haven't seen in literally years that might not come around again for years. I should have had it behind me, but that image I had of Ruth and Hornsby, that card has sold like 3 times. I'm done. That's the statement. It it does not move, at least in a trackable sale environment. So when you look from 2000 until 2025 and you see 3 sales, you don't get to wait for the next round. So you got to go strong and bid aggressively, or you won't have it. And so that's kind of the mindset shift. You have to kind of decide what fair is, and then say, can I find this again? The 3 that I won last time, I probably could find again. But 2 of them at least I've been watching for, and they don't come up much. So let me go ahead and share. This is what I won in the last auction. One is what I'd consider to be smaller, and the other 2 are pretty big. They're nothing's massive, nothing's huge dollars, but they're not $10 cards either. So first one is actually from a set that I really love, M101, the -4, -5. They're all regular size cards, and they're all from Chicago. So they're things I look for. The M101 4 and 5s, subtle differences. They essentially look the same. It's card numbers, and it's maybe who's in it, and a couple of other subtle differences. So this one happens to be a blank back with some back damage. So some of the auctions, I feel like you see everything, and everything's like 4s, 5s, even when it's like 1905 kind of stuff. And this auction was more in my wheelhouse. It was like 4s and 5s were outliers. A lot of more like 1s and 2s and stuff. So this one I picked up. It's a player who's now Hall of Fame eligible again. I don't know, because of his place in history and the story of the Black Sox, I don't know that does anything for their values and prices. Take a look at the card itself and not worry about the grade. There's definitely creasing, but it's, I always say keep it out of the image of the player, and it's a lot less distracting for me. Everything is easily read. The picture's clear. I love this set because you get such a great image of the players. So Eddie Seacott. And again, blank back. And for my slab collectors, It's a 1. That's okay. Absolutely love that set. My second one that I will show you is a player that obviously I collect very significantly. It's a set I don't have represented, so now I do. 1907, which this would be, it's Mordecai Brown. I'll show you the set in a second. So Mordecai Brown has a couple of, I think it's 04 issues, maybe even an 02, but they're like literally pop 1 or 2. I mean, sometimes you see things researched and they're like, we think it exists. Like, we haven't seen one yet. We can't prove it's real. So they're very, very tough to find. So people tend to not like gravitate towards that being called like a rookie, which is interesting. It's kind of anti today's card world. There's a fan craze card, which I think people will count as a rookie because there's at least a few of them floating around. But this one would be really early. I mean, 1907 would be very early. That's right after the fan craze issues, basically. It's W555, so it's that teeny tiny little thing. I usually like oversized. The back, this is interesting. The back seems to have damage to me. And W, what does that tell us? That would be hand cut then, right? So when you get a grade on these, to me it means way less because you're really guessing at where it's supposed to be cut, and you're guessing that in, probably 1907. So this one got a 4, which in my world, all that a 4 tells you on a hand cut card is that it's not going to have major creasing, and that the image should be pretty darn clear. Other than that, it means it's arbitrarily somebody guessed where people 100 years later would want to see a border. But pretty cool image, right? I mean, I'm pretty zoomed in on you. It's a teeny tiny little thing. And SGC, who I think now is known for really making a nice custom fit, did not do me favors on this one. This thing is, I can move that around if I want to. I'm going to kind of leave it there because it's close enough to straight. But yeah, they didn't do me any favors. And the last one is the biggest. Another player I collect pretty heftily. I actually showed the first card I'm going to show you here as Mount Rushmore of ugly card potential. And it's a shame because it's a beautiful card. And this is the one I showed on Mount Rushmore episode. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Mount Rushmore of ugly cards. And I did that because this one looks like it's been set on fire and thrown in a puddle to put the fire out. It's rough. The problem is, I think the card itself is gorgeous. It's how it was treated after the fact that I consider to be, kind of what makes that a less than pleasing card. I bought it because I love the set, W575. To me, the size of this, the simplicity of it, believe it or not, there's actually like a signature there. But the images, a lot of them are just kind of unique images, or you get something like this where, I mean, he's in, maybe his Sunday best, or he's getting ready to go to a game or something. It's, it's really kind of just a neat, unique image of Eddie Collins. And so I bought that, I think years ago, not 10 or 20, but 2 or 3 maybe, because you don't see it. It doesn't come up much. Maybe there's a couple that's moved in auctions and things that I have missed, but I try to keep an eye out for this one. And so finally it came up. Let's get the slab introduction. Do this in reverse. Some people say, like, I'm not going to show you the grade. I'll just show you the grade first. So it got graded a 4. And again, you're talking W's. But what a difference. Getting this thing in hand. I absolutely love it. So all the details of his outfit, of his clothes, his facial expression, right there, the writing. Yeah, it was my all Chicago auction. I didn't intend that at all, but I guess it worked out pretty well. So that is the 3 that I've landed. So the Collins, I think I paid up for a bit. The Brown went a little less than I thought, and Seacat went where I was hoping. Could have gone a little higher. I probably would have still tried to get it, but didn't have a whole lot of bidding left in me on that one either. So like I said, auctions, I think for things that you don't see every day, are going strong to fair strong, somewhere in that ballpark. But it's rare to see things slide through and you say, wow, that's all that was. That was such a deal. A lot of my friends, when we're texting, I come in on, these 4, and at the end they're like, nah, I didn't get any of them. Just went too strong, a little more aggressive than I was expecting. And sometimes we're like, geez, how'd that even, what are people thinking? So it's an interesting market at times. Whatever factors are in there, but scarce seems to be the cool thing right now, and unfortunately that's my wheelhouse. So I'm seeing more competition than I did before. But that's my 3 pickups. Just wanted to share them. I will catch you on the next one. Question for you to add in the comments. Do you participate in the auction houses? I'm always curious who's in there and who's not. And a few of us, we know how each other thinks. My friend Dan is always wonderful at messaging and saying like, hey, have you seen this one? That looked like an Aaron card. I'm like, thank you so much, my friend, because there's so many auctions. Josh just did that as well on another card. You let your friends know what you're looking for, and there's a lot of hobby courtesy out there saying like, I'm not going to go after your card. That's one that's meant for you. I've done that a couple times with Sammy as well, and send things to Jason regularly, and just different friends. So jump in the community, let people know what you're looking for, and curious if you're in these big auction houses or if you stick to eBay or local card shops or where you're shopping. So I will catch you all in the next one. Take care.